Hi there, I'm Camilla Campuzano, the Community Manager of Montessori Thrive and Nido Marketing. Welcome to the Nido Marketing YouTube channel, where every week I make a video to help Montessori school leaders market their schools, grow their enrollment, and find a sense of community and support online. In this week's video, I'm going to be focusing on the real importance and significance of educating those prospective families who are coming to your Montessori school about what authentic Montessori really means and the difference between the Montessori name and a Montessori program, so that parents can make a more informed decision about their child's schooling. We'll take a little bit of a deep dive into why it's so valuable to show parents this, as well as some ways that your Montessori can start educating families on the importance of finding authentic programs and what they can really expect from a high quality Montessori program. So let's go ahead and get started. So, what are the benefits of educating families on authentic Montessori? Well, first and foremost, families can make more informed decisions when they're just more familiarized with what options they have available and how they're different. So, while in the Montessori space, we know the difference between a school that calls themselves a Montessori versus one that really does embrace a philosophy, make sure that the environment is up to par, has trained guides, etc. Parents might not be aware of this. So it's important to let them know so that they can make those informed decisions, and also so that they can even decide if Montessori is right for them. Parents can also better understand what they need to be looking for throughout their school search journey if you're making an active effort in educating them on what authentic Montessori actually looks like. You can also ensure that the right families are able to join your community. You want families who are mission appropriate and are aligned with your beliefs. If you feel that a parent isn't going to be the right fit for the community, it's not really worth having them enrolled. You want someone who really confidently has signed up their child in your programs, believes in your mission, your values, and the Montessori philosophy, and feels comfortable with that decision. So it's always good to be educating them, saying this is what you're going to be getting when you choose to enroll your child here with us. It also allows parents to just better see the value of your programs and services. Maybe they're scared away by the price of tuition, but when they really see the difference between a Montessori and a authentic Montessori, they might understand the value and why it's worth that cost of tuition. They can say, oh, wow, in this Montessori school, they actually are making sure that the environment is up to par. All of this staff and teachers are trained and are really understanding of the child's developmental needs. I feel that this would be the best environment for my child to succeed. So it really allows them to see that value. So there are a lot of benefits as to why your school should be making an active effort in educating families on what authentic Montessori is and how you're making sure that all of your programs are up to that standard. So, number one, if you are an accredited school, I recommend that you talk about it and you bring this to the forefront. Not every parent who has heard the word Montessori is familiar with accreditation, whether it's AMI or AMS or any sort of other accreditation wherever your school is located that's available. You want to make sure you're discussing this on your website, you discuss this during your tours, and you really bring it to the forefront. If you are an accredited school, you've worked hard to get there, you've made sure that all of your programs fit within a standard, your guides are all trained. So it's important to really sell parents on this and allow them to understand what it means to be an accredited school, because there are many schools out there that carry the name Montessori. It's not a trademark name, it's not copyrighted, but really it takes a lot of work and effort to have an accreditation or accredited teachers in your community. So you want to make sure you're making an effort here. I recommend creating a web page about this or including it on your About page. You really want to just explain what accreditation means. You can talk about a little bit of the standards that it takes to receive an accreditation and why parents should opt for an accredited school. This is, again, valuable to bring to the forefront. Make sure to include the accreditation logos where possible. Before you know it, when parents are searching for their schools, they might start to pick up on the value of accreditation. So you want to make sure it's on your brochures, on your school website, and on informational pamphlets that you might be handing out throughout your open houses or tours. Make sure to bring it up on tours. You can say, we are proudly AMI or AMS accredited. We put a lot of work every year to make sure that our Montessori programs are up to the standard. You can talk about the background of the accreditation and everything that you do to make sure that your programs are top notch. You also can offer informational papers on accreditation while Google exists, and parents can always go online and search for themselves. It's nice when you're handing them resources and they're learning from you. It builds that trust. It gives you a huge amount of credit. So you can always have a little bit of a pamphlet or some information about your accreditation that you can hand out during tours and open houses. You can also explain the difference between accredited and non-accredited schools. Again, you can't always make assumptions. Every school is different. Every community is different. And not all schools that are not accredited are necessarily unauthentic Montessoris. But all you can say is, when you do have this accreditation, it is certain that there are certain standards in place. So you can give families that sense of reassurance. Number 2, offer guidance. Really answer that question of what parents should be looking for. Again, how many times have we had parents tour our school and say, oh, well, every Montessori school that we've toured is a little bit different. Why is that? You can explain, okay, well, maybe they have different approaches. Maybe, they're not strictly sticking to the philosophy. So you can explain this and offer a tour checklist of sorts. We have one of these in our Montessori Thrive collection for those of you who are Montessori Thrive members. This is great because it gives those parents who may be new to Montessori an idea of what they're looking for on this tour, and making sure that all of those questions are answered. I think also including an FAQ on your website helps because parents may not even know what questions they have to ask yet. So when they can click on an FAQ, they can see what are the common things that people always wonder about Montessori. Let me make sure to ask these things on the tour. I also recommend creating a guide for looking at schools in general or early childhood programs, not just Montessori, because believe it or not, some of the parents who come toward your school, they might be a better fit for a Waldorf program. They might be a better fit for Reggio or traditional schooling, or maybe they're just really looking for a daycare. So you can always provide guidance on, what parents need to look for and where they might actually fit in better. Ultimately, your goal is to get mission-aligned families. And if you want to do that, your touring process is a great time to just offer some guidance. Even if you help parents that don't necessarily enroll, it's still nice to help them on their journey and be a school that, maybe when they do want to recommend a Montessori, even though they may not have enrolled with you, they can say, oh, well, I had a really good touring experience there. They really helped me find the right school. Even though it wasn't them, I recommend going there if you're having trouble making up your mind. So it always helps when you're providing this information that helps parents make a more informed decision. So focus on resources and make sure that you're helping parents see what they need to see. Number 3, this kind of leads in from my previous point. Educate families on other types of educational approaches. Again, your goal is to really help them on their overall school search. You're not necessarily just trying to get every parent who comes in for a tour to enroll. They might not be the right fit. You want every parent that tours who is mission appropriate to enroll. So you can always provide things like blogs, one-pagers on your website or throughout your tour on other non-traditional schooling methods or other options. And you can kind of list out the differences, or infographics comparing and contrasting different school approaches are also helpful. Again, it's a hard decision and there's so much choice nowadays. So you want parents to make an informed decision. You can also point out the differences. We have several one-pagers now in our collection. We have a Montessori versus Waldorf. We have a Montessori versus Reggio, because oftentimes parents think, oh, it's non-traditional, so it all must be kind of similar. When the reality is, Waldorf and Montessori are very different and they have a very different mission-appropriate family. So it really helps to explain these things. Another thing that's helpful is explaining why Montessori and daycare are different. If a parent is looking for a place to just drop off their child while they're at work, they're not really focused on an education emphasis, they just want to make sure the child is socializing, maybe a daycare is a better option. If you have a parent who is dedicated to coming in every day of the week with their child, who really is looking for something that is more developmentally appropriate, that will give them an educational foundation, maybe Montessori is a better choice. So it's great to lay this out for parents and explain, this is a school, this is not a daycare, or this is Montessori, this is not Waldorf, so they can make that informed decision. Number 4, you want to make sure you have a really good tour strategy and a really well planned out tour so that you answer all of these questions. Oftentimes in the Montessori space, we're so used to using our own lingo, things like practical life, grace and courtesy. We use this every single day, but a parent who's new to this might not understand what we mean by this. So make sure to use simple language. I also recommend having a Montessori dictionary to hand during your tour. We have one of these as well in our Montessori Thrive collection. Make sure explaining Montessori to fresh eyes, like someone who has never heard it. You put it in very simple terms and you don't overwhelm a parent. Really focus on the benefits of your Montessori programs, your accreditation, your trained staff, your environment, and lay out those expectations early. You can also think about all of the resources you can offer, whether it's a list of parenting resources, you can invite them to your open house. You can say, all families who join our community get free parenting courses throughout the year. Really focus on what you offer families that they might not find in other communities. Why should they choose your school? Really sit and focus on what sets your school apart from other programs and from other Montessori schools in your area, and really speak to that. What makes your school special? And you also want to focus on your pain points. So if you know that a big concern is tuition cost, flexibility, things like this, you can really have prepared answers for those issues. And you can show parents value. Always lead with value throughout your school tours. So focus. Finally, you want to make sure you have very well planned out events and open houses that are geared towards parent education, because nothing really sets you apart more than offering value and making a difficult decision easier for parents. So make sure you're focusing on that value standpoint, and remember that those parents who are coming to your open house may have never been formally introduced to Montessori. So really give them a good first impression and offer as many resources as possible. They might be bringing their misconceptions in, and be ready to answer all of the questions that you are used to hearing from these prospective families. And be prepared not only with responses, but with resources that you can offer them. This will set you apart. You can inform them on authentic Montessori, what can a parent do in order to make sure that they are going to enroll their child in a Montessori that is really a quality one, that has trained guides, that has the right materials, and really follows a philosophy if that's what they're looking for. And again, I finish with just offer as many resources as possible, especially for those parents who are extra interested and are asking important questions. You want to make sure you provide resources on your website in the form of blogs and your program information. You can hand out lead generators. If you don't have an idea of some good lead generators, I recommend you watch our earlier video on lead generators. It's a great watch, and it will give you some idea on how you can deliver some of this informative information directly from your website. But always be finding creative ways to educate families, because you want them to be very confident in their decision to join your community. I hope you found this video and the tips I shared helpful. It's certainly important to always be educating families on not only the importance of authentic Montessori, but Montessori in general. This is the number one thing we always tell schools when it comes to their marketing journey, is that you're going to constantly be educating not only your prospective families, but your current families. I'd love to hear how your school approaches this issue and how you are constantly educating families on the importance of authentic Montessori programs and helping them make more informed decisions about their child's schooling. So feel free to drop any questions, comments, ideas in the comments section below. We also have links to our resources such as Montessori Thrive, as well as our Nido Marketing resources for those of you who are looking to maybe build a new website over the summer, or just focus a little bit more on marketing and growing your enrollments. I'll be back next week with another Montessori marketing video. Until then, take care.